this is Brad Hartle here. I work with UMES 4-H STEM. We're talking science, marine science specifically. This is DelmarvaLife, and it's showtime.
You know, it takes a lot of complicated technology to get this show on the air, and then sometimes we get some crazy fun technology right here in the studio. It really grabs our attention, and that is what STEM education is all about. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. And for nearly a decade, each fall has signaled the start of the annual Maryland STEM Festival. Participants in grades K through 12 gather to take part in hands-on experiments and demonstrations.
Love the demonstrations. Everything from robotics, 3D printing, marine science, and more. And speaking of marine science experiments, we are so excited to welcome into the DelmarvaLife kitchen Brad Hartle. He is a 4-H STEM educator. Of course, we're in the kitchen today, Brad. Yeah. We are mixing ingredients, but we're not making any food, you know?
No.
What are we doing here?
Not making any food, but we are potential mess. So
ooh. Oh, okay.
Love it.
Better than being on the couch and on the carpet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Easier to clean up with just a towel.
So you're going to show us something about ocean currents?
Yes. So this is a really easy experiment you can do at home. I've done it. I have a aquarium tank here that used to be a beta tank. You could put glass in so you could have multiple of them. Repurpose in it today, but you could also do it in Tupperware. I've done it in that in the past. We have fresh water here in the actual tank right now. We're going to mix some fresh water and then actually make it very salty. And so we'll see what will actually happen with density, looking at ocean currents, how they function between salt water and fresh water, temperatures, if it's hot versus cold, you can experiment with that. So there's a lot of ways you could kind of
So why is that
this.
important to know?
So if we all know the Gulf Stream, it's the one that keeps kind of our area a little bit warmer than farther north or over towards England or anything like that. So as the Gulf Stream starts in the Gulf of Mexico, the water at the surface gets really hot. It'll start to, with wind and also that temperature gradient, it'll start flowing north. So as it gets farther north, it starts to cool off. It gets up to Greenland, England, those kind of areas, and it'll actually be so cold that the density actually makes it sink. So you have this conveyor belt system of warm water going north, the colder water sinks, goes under it and comes south, and it just keeps going in that kind of spiral effect.
All right, and that's what you're going to kind of demonstrate here. All right, so what do we do?
So we're going to do, I'm going to hand this to you.
Okay.
Fill that up to about a quarter cup, doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'm going to have you fill this up to about a pint, so it's about this second line.
Come on, here.
All right.
So we're going to do, that's perfect.
Okay, do I pour it in here, or
we're going to pour it over in this one once she's got it filled up. And then I'll take care of the next step after that. So go ahead and pour that in.
Oh, okay. Salt is going in.
And then I'm going to give you the spoon.
Okay.
I'll take care of the food coloring so that I get the nice blue hands today. So we're going to do about 10 drops of food coloring. I'm not going to count perfectly today, just enough to get it a nice blue color to contrast what we've already got in there.
Okay, and I'm going to stir
And
that
then
up.
if you
Oh,
would
that's pretty.
stir that.
Oh, it's a beautiful blue.
Salty blue water.
Yes, everybody wants that.
All right.
So then what we'll do is, feels like most of the salt is, it'll sound like it a little bit, but as long as most of it, you're not getting a big clump or anything.
No, no big clumps.
All right, so who wants to pour it in?
You want to do it?
Okay.
All right, so you're going to pour it in over at this end. Make sure you pour it in, don't miss. That's more cleanup than we need. All right. So what you'll be able to see is, obviously gravity is going to make it go down at the beginning, but you would think that it's going to mix really quickly and rise to the surface. What it should do is it'll actually go down and stay down, and we'll get a nice layer at the bottom, fresh water at the top, and you'll actually see it kind of go back and forth, almost like a wave after you've poured it in.
Okay, so I'm going to pour it in on this side, not spilling it.
So as the water goes in, you can see it kind of expand out. It'll reach over to this side, and then you see it kind of make that wave go back. So this is kind of a miniature version of what our ocean currents do. If you do this with hot and cold, what you can actually get is a full current. If you have like ice over here and like a heat lamp here, time-wise, can't do it today because it takes a little while to heat this up. But as you'll see, it'll start to slowly, it goes back and forth, but then eventually it makes its own layer. So you have basically a saline line. So you've got the fresh water at the top, and then you've got that salt water down here at the bottom.
How about that?
That is totally cool. Brad, you can just feel your passion for this stuff. Why are you passionate about STEM?
So as a kid, I grew up in Western Maryland, so I wasn't around water much. So going to the beaches, Ocean City, Myrtle Beach, Florida, that kind of thing, it was always an exciting time for me. So that kind of stirred into the passion of going to school for marine science. Went down to South Carolina, to Coastal Carolina, got my degree, and kind of just have transitioned it into working with STEM in general, and then 4-H. And doing the STEM festival every year out at UMES.
So, and that is coming up. Tell us about it.
Yeah.
So that's going to be on October 21st. We moved it a little bit earlier this year just because of some other events, some other extension events, but then also homecoming is in November now, so we moved it to October. It's open to anyone, K through 12, families, parents, teachers. It runs from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on October 21st, so people can come in. We'll have exhibitor tables set up, so you might see an activity like this that you can take part in, you can help do it. NASA Wallops Island is going to have an educator there, Pocomoke State Park, Assateague State Park, and then a whole bunch of professors from UMES will be there as well. And people can come in for 5 minutes, come through, look, or they can be there all day, the whole time, kind of up to them.
Yeah. A good way to get your kid excited about science.
Yeah. Can I also point out, I don't think you got any food coloring on your hands.
Oh, no.
I didn't today.
Nailed it!
The other day when I was testing this, I had a red finger, a blue finger, green. It was all over the place.
Oh, when you show up on the TV, you nailed it.
Yeah, that's why you test it before you come on camera.
Yes, absolutely. Brad Hartle, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming in and showing us this. Very interesting. All right, well, now that we've learned about ocean currents, let's stick with the topic of weather and get prepared for hurricane season with help from Delaware Electric Cooperative. Stay with us. DelmarvaLife will be right back.